we lost at the very end. I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing this. And people like, what's wrong? I said, that just cost me like 20 grand. They go, you bet that much on a game? I go, no, revenue wise.
All right, sports talk to food talk. We're on the table next, sponsored by Blue Runner Foods. Our next guest is a name that steak lovers in New Orleans know very well. Desi Vega is the owner of several of the city's beloved restaurants, including Desi Vega's Steakhouse, Mr. John's Steakhouse, Desi Vega's Burger. A lifelong New Orleanian, Desi has built a reputation for great food, great hospitality, and some of the best steaks you'll find anywhere. And I'll add to that some great stories. Desi, welcome to the show.
Oh, welcome. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you. You know, you're born and raised New Orleanian, and your name has become synonymous with steaks in the city. How did you get started?
At an early age, my dad had a couple of frost tops that started out. He was always in the food business.
Really?
And he converted the frost top into like a mini steakhouse. We called it Steak and Patty. And that's where my steak thing came from. And then through there, of course, after I finished college, I knew more than my parents and was telling them how to run the restaurant. And he goes, I always tell people before LeBron took his talents elsewhere, I go, he was really good friends with Mr. Dick Brennan. So I'm like, hey, we'll call up Mr. Dick. I said, I'm going to work for Commanders. And I'm so glad I did. But in a way, I was kind of like at my dad's restaurant. I could come in and eat my breakfast at the bar and watch Sports Center and read the paper. Then when we opened up, put my apron on. I didn't do side work. I didn't shine glasses or silverware, fill up salt and pepper shakers, sugar caddies. People worked with me didn't like me because I didn't do anything. And when I went to Commanders, I found out I had to be to work on time. I had to do side work. I had to do all of this. And, you know, Emerald was the chef there at the time and made my connection.
What a great
with
place
him.
to learn.
Yeah, it's like, you know, and so worked for, you know, for Miss Ruth Fertel, Ruth Chris afterwards. So Emerald was at Commanders when he left to do his thing. And I didn't make the team. So I went to go work for Miss Ruth Fertel. And when I was opening up franchises for her, we were opening a Vegas store, and Emerald came in as a guest, and he was opening up the Fish House in Vegas.
Right.
And took care of him and went and checked on his steak and sent him out a little Nucello because I know that's what he drank. And on the way out, he's like, where you from? I said, New Orleans, chef. He goes, how you know I drink Nucello? I said, well, I used to work for you, but I didn't make your team. And so I came to work for Miss Ruth, and he goes, well, we're going to have to change that. He goes, nobody gives hospitality in Vegas like you do. Like I was checking on him. And so opportunity rose. I'm like, hey, Mom, how's Emerald's restaurant doing down there? He just offered me a job to maybe come back to work. And she said, I'd love to have you back home. And then came back to work for Emerald. And then from there, I just decided that I think I got this and wanted to open up Mr. John's with Uncle Paul Varisco and Rodney Salvaggio, and probably one of the greatest moves I made in the restaurant business.
God, the rest is so much history there.
Guys, yeah.
Jeez, we're going to get into that, but I want to talk about your parents for a moment. Tell us about Mama's Meatballs.
Oh, wow, they're famous now in New Orleans, and they getting kind of even on the coast here a little bit. We just opened in Ocean Springs, and people are asking for the meatballs already.
Yeah.
It started out like at Emerald's, we do a little amuse-bouche, a little something to welcome you to the restaurant. So I'm like, what can I do that's cost effective? We cut all our steaks in-house and we do this and do that. Maybe we can grind them up and we can make meatballs out of it. So I got Mom in there and got the recipe. And the trick to it is, and we did a little video with my Love to Eat guys. And the key is like, you know, nice breadcrumbs, garlic, onions, parsley, Parmesan Reggiano cheese. A little more expensive, but it makes it taste a little better.
Right.
And the key is on how you roll them. Little water, make them moist. My mom puts maybe in about 2 pounds of meatball, about a half a cup of water, which people don't do. And it makes them moist. So when you got a meatball and you can kind of cut it with your fork without it like shooting off your plate on you. And we brown them and then put them in the gravy. Oh. Not sauce, gravy.
I wish you would have brought a few here.
We could have.
Next time we do a cooking segment.
I'd love to do that.
I love it. You know, we have such a strong steakhouse tradition in New Orleans, but, you know, there's steakhouses all over the United States, all over the world for that matter. What makes steakhouses in New Orleans different?
Well, I think the people, first off, and the sizzle that Miss Ruth started with the steak and And I don't think there's a lot of restaurants or any steakhouse around the country that they serve it on a regular, maybe a hot plate, but not with a sizzle, not with
with the
butter.
sizzle,
You know,
yeah.
butter, is it healthy for you to have it? We don't douse it in butter, but the trick is to get the sizzle is you have the parsley, which is the garnish, right? And when you cut the parsley, it's damp. So when you put the parsley on top of the steak, and then when you hit it with the butter on a hot plate, wet parsley creates that sizzle,
Oh,
which I learned from her, of course. And so I'm like, if I'm going to do a steak, we're going to do it that way. But I think the sizzle has made New Orleans steakhouses the thing. I think a lot of people are starting to do it now, and I think the people make a big part of our steakhouses in New Orleans.
yeah. I mean, it seems to me that's where families come together, business comes together.
Absolutely.
It's a great atmosphere, and you have great atmospheres in all of your establishments. You also focus on seafood, which is sort of unusual for a steakhouse or offering steaks.
Well, it's real simple, and I refer to what I learned at Commanders from Emerald. But we have the lake, we have in our backyard, we have fresh seafood that we can get. We always love to buy local, and when you have that product so close to get to, and I understand why when I was in Vegas, it was hard to get shrimp because you're in the middle of the desert, right? So
Right.
it does take a little bit more to get that out there. And I just would assume in other steakhouses, they focus on steaks, not so much on seafood. We need to focus more on seafood here because everybody loves seafood in New Orleans. And if you come to somebody that don't eat meat, you got to have a nice,
Right.
Seafood dish for them, or some chicken or something to that
Yeah,
extent.
we're in the
So
middle of
I want
Lent.
to capture not just steak eaters. 55% of men eat steak, but what about the women out there? So we want to cater to both.
Right, and somebody wants to come and have the atmosphere that you provide in all of your
Yeah, and both
establishments.
all the restaurants are different too. They all got their
Yeah,
own
talk about that.
personality.
Tell us about
Mr. John's,
your children.
for example. Yes, Mr. John's, old school Italian steakhouse. The tile floors, low ceilings, ceiling fans. We have the pictures of every celebrity that's come through the restaurant, mostly Saints players that come in there. We do a thing with children. If you're under 10 years old and above 5, we bring you to the kitchen to make your own dessert, which is something my grandfather taught me a long time ago. He goes, because, that's your next customer.
Oh, yeah.
And so we bring them back. And the reason why we don't want them too little, because we have those 1,800-degree broilers back there, and it's a kitchen. So we don't want too little, but we don't want too old either. But is some kids that still come a little older. And I've already had 2 rehearsal dinners with me from kids that had desserts in the kitchen
Oh,
with
you
me.
see?
So it's just like we want customers for
You
40,
may-
50 years, want to bring their kids there too.
You made that impact, and you're really in the greater New Orleans area. So you're on the North Shore.
Yes, sir.
You're out in Harahan, right?
Burgers in Harahan and Lakeview. Steakhouse is Metairie, New Orleans. Well, both on St. Charles, John's and Desi's, and we just opened up Ocean Springs in November of last year.
How do you split your time? What do you?
I need a helicopter soon. I try to spend as much time at each restaurant. I kind of look at the reservations book. There's a nice app we have from Open Table that we get. Can show me where the reservations and what time people are coming in. So I try to plan like, okay, John's is usually an earlier spot, just like Metairie. Desi's is a little bit later. So I try to hit Metairie first or hit John's. It just kind of depends. And I like to go from Metairie here. I don't like to come all the way to downtown and go back to Metairie. So I try to see where I need to see, who the people I need to see. I love to see everybody in the restaurant, but it's hard to come in and spend 10 minutes with somebody and go, I got to run to the other restaurant. So,
I think what you're also describing is something that you probably saw active. Well, I think you have it in your DNA as well, but you saw that with Commander's Palace. You saw that working for Ruth as it related to the customer service and being present, letting the customer see you. Yeah. That's so important.
It's important, and a lot of people joke with me and everything. They got to see Desi, and it's like it's fun being there. It brings a lot of energy into the restaurants when I come in there. It's people don't even know Desi Vega is a real person, like tourists that come in. They just see the name and they go, Desi's here, and they're like, wait, what? But people spend a lot of money with you, and they want to see me. They don't want to see a manager. They like to see that, hey, listen, I'm supporting you and I'm coming to see you. And sometimes it's you got to be there. It's work.
Yeah, I know.
I don't call it work anymore, and I hate to say this, but it's like it's a way of life. It's like I don't consider I have to go to work tonight. It's like I'm going to the restaurant.
Yeah.
It's like my little sacred place too. It's like when I get there, anything I'm thinking about or any problems or nothing that's going on inside the world, when I get into the restaurant, it's just, I'm on stage, and it's just,
And the
feels good.
atmosphere you've built, I think that's why you see so many people from across the community. And I'm thinking about the Saints right now because I know a number of the Saints players love your steaks. They love your atmosphere. They feel very comfortable. They feel like you respect where they are in their careers, and you're going to give them their space. But you do that for everybody that
Well,
comes in.
we give everybody their space, and we know how to, we teach our waiters how to read a table. Like, so if you see four gentlemen coming in, they got books, and they're in business, we're not going to interrupt. And like, when they look up, we're going to come to them. You see a six top getting ready to go see a concert in the arena. Well, they're fun. Like, hey,
Yeah.
have you seen them before? You can talk to them. So you read the guests. But the players, the big thing we have to worry about, players and celebrity status people that come in, is they want their space. They're having dinner. And when Drew used to come in, he would sit, in the corner with his back to everybody so they couldn't see him, But we have a manager on the floor that as soon as we start to see somebody start to try to get to that table with the camera, with their phone, or, a football, we kind of stop them.
Yeah.
And they respect that fact. And like, when they finish eating, Cam Jordan's so great with this. He'll go to every table, take pictures, say hello. He'll get behind the bar and make drinks. He's just, and I'm hoping he gets to finish here because he's so big to the
he is
city.
definitely one of a kind.
But it's all about giving them their space and taking care of them, and just don't have a whole frenzy of paparazzi dealing with them. Yeah. And we're really good at that.
So somebody comes to one of your restaurants for the first time, and they need some advice on what are they going to order, how are they going to get their steak. What would you tell that person?
I would say, are you a ribeye or a filet guy?
And that would be
my
what?
barometer to see where you're at.
You
So
want
if you say
something-
ribeye, then I'm gonna let you stick with the ribeye and maybe go up to a cowboy. But if you say a filet, I may try to guide you to our New York strip, because we take the back cap off, so we serve a filet of New York strip. And a New York strip has so much more flavor than a filet, but people just like filet. They're filet eaters, and I don't try to get them. But everybody, I don't say everyone, but 8 out of 10 people that I said filet, let's get a strip, and they've stuck with a strip ever since then.
Really?
And as far as which restaurant to go to, we kind of touch base a little bit on it. Mr. John's is kind of like, which one, like, who's your favorite child? You can't, so John's the baby, but John has that New Orleans Italian steakhouse feel. It's just like, if you go on for the first time, and if it's a dinner or an anniversary, I want you to go there. If it's going to be going to a Saints game or going somewhere, with a group of people, Desi's has energy. Desi has, like, you never know who's going to walk in. It's got more energy. John's is kind of like very subdued, a lot quieter. But the tile floors and the low ceilings do get a little loud in there. We got stuff for absorbing noise underneath the chairs and on the walls too, because it does get a little loud.
So Ocean Springs just opened.
Ocean Springs is open, about the size of Mr. John's.
And do you have the next iteration of that, or what do
Well,
you see
we're
the
looking.
next couple of
Fairhope
years?
might be the next spot. And when I refer back to everybody I work for, because they've taught me a lot of what I know and what works. Miss Ruth built along the coast. She didn't like Baton Rouge, Lafayette. She went this way. Didn't go to New York or L.A. or Chicago or anything like that. So that's my plan. What I want to do is, right now, people know us in Mississippi that come in for games, for example. Fairhope, they're starting to know us. Down 30A area, they all know us, but the real estate down there is a little expensive for a restaurant to make it.
Yeah.
So we're trying to stay away from that area, but that's the plan, to go along the coast. And Lafayette's knocking on the door. So that's potentially
That's
a
a
spot
community
too.
that's just been moving in a very forward and
And I didn't want to
way.
get out the state because I, keeping the money here in the state, but when you have people from Mississippi say, we need one here, we need one here, we need one here, and it's like you keep hearing it, and it's like, okay, let's do it.
Listen, I think you're probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Saints fan that I know.
Yes, sir.
How do you feel about the season?
I'm so excited. I get goosebumps right now. It's
Yeah.
what I hate about is being so close with the Saints, and when we had a couple of rough seasons past couple of years, and I got to hear about Mickey Loomis needs to go and this needs to go and blah 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 blah. I tell my friends now, I go, don't pull a hamstring jumping back on the bandwagon. We go through our ups and downs, and the free agency, just I'm excited again. It's like look, everybody at the Dome, it fills up because it's a party. But over the years, I can see my restaurant, which is really crazy, is On a Saints win, we'll have 300 covers on the books. On a win, we open up at about 3 o'clock on a 12 o'clock game. By 8:30, 9 o'clock, we're like, no more. On a loss, by 6:30, we're like empty. People they may come eat right away, and they're gone within an hour. They like when on win, everybody's having fun. It's like even on Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesday, the rest of the week on a Saints win, the whole city's buzzing.
There's nothing special. The Saints
So like,
Monday,
yeah, I'm the biggest fan. So
a Saints victory in that
you know,
Mondays
we're
are
at
so good.
one of the games, and all of a sudden we lost at the very end. I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing this, and people like, what's wrong? I said, that just cost me like 20 grand. They go, you bet that much on a game? I go, no, revenue wise. I go, my restaurant's going to be empty now.
Yeah, but
It's
but you're feeling good like the rest of us.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Tyler, I got to meet him right when he got in town, so it was great to get to know him right away.
We're going to have him on the show, and can't wait to learn about all the great things that he's been doing. Enjoying
my
it.
Grand Marshal, man.
Yeah, I know you got him in Pygmalion. That was
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
Desi, you've got all these restaurants. I'll call them your children, each with a different atmosphere. Different experience. Talk about that.
It's like children. They all have different personalities, right? Mr. John's is the New Orleans traditional steakhouse, Italian steakhouse, tile floors, low ceilings, pictures on the walls. Desi's is all windows, not a traditional steakhouse, but it's on the avenue, so seeing a streetcar pass, and you got Lafayette Square right next to us. A lot of energy in that restaurant. Metairie is more of a family restaurant. Like, it's just a lot of big lunch business over there.
Yeah, I'll go there for 4 kids or for the Saints Hall of Fame. And there's always somebody making a business plan, or a family over here in the corner having, a dinner with the kids or lunch with the kids. I mean, you do get a good cross section.
Yes,
there.
we do. And like I said, it's Mr. John's is traditional New Orleans. Desi's is kind of, I hate to say an LA kind of feel in there, but with the windows. You're sitting up top at Metairie looking over Veterans Highway.
Yeah.
Um,
And also a good view of the city, too.
Yeah, good view of the city. Good.
I like the fact that you've created an atmosphere that everyone can go to that makes them feel comfortable.
And Mark, it wasn't set out to make every restaurant different, because we have the same menu at every restaurant. I do let my chefs create like their specials, but if you want to get the Houdat shrimp or whatever we have on there, they're at every restaurant. But it's just the decor of the restaurant, and we let the decor of whatever space we get in, we build around that decor.
Yeah, Kenny Trahan hosts the Saints Hall of Fame board meetings at your Metairie location.
Yeah.
And the first course always is the meatball. No,
Yeah, the meatball. Yeah.
comes out. I mean, it's like, I think that's what draws people to the board meetings.
It's well, you're at Metairie Country Club on next Thursday, right?
For the
For
Rotary?
4 kids.
For 4 kids, yes.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
But
Got my calendar, it's crazy.
But the meatball, and it's, we get back to the Saints with Coach Payton. He would come in and just we have pasta, and he would just get meatballs and spaghetti. And he said, you need to put this on the menu. And I'm like, no, I need people to come buying a $50 steak, not an $18 spaghetti and meatball dinner.
He's a good consultant.
Yeah. Actually, Desi's was supposed to be Peyton's place. I don't know if you knew that or not.
No.
So we were having dinner in there, and he was talking about it and everything. And Loomis was there with its draft dinner. And the first year we opened up over there, and I was talking to him about it. Was talking about Breeze. Well, Breeze jumped on after Peyton backed out. Peyton didn't really back out. Loomis told him, "Listen, you just got here, and you know whose restaurant this used to be? It was Mike Dicka's." And you know why it's Desi's now? Because Mike Dicker got fired. He didn't concentrate on winning. And then Breeze jumped in, and I just said, I'm putting my name on it. I'm not paying somebody else to work. I'm not working for anybody else
story.
anymore.
That'll be in the book, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's great. That's terrific. The fact that you have all of these different locations, and people will go to the ones that they are comfortable in, but you can be comfortable at all your locations.
Yeah.
Which is great.
And I'd just like to give a little shout out to Steve Gleason, too, because his father-in-law, Paul Risco, is my partner at Mr. John's. And way back when Steve was playing, he used to come in and he started bringing Drew in because they were really good friends. And from there, it escalated to more players coming in. And then, just that became my relationship. We gave Steve a Super Bowl ring, at Mr. John's.
Oh,
So
that's
I
beautiful.
say we, like I'm part of the organization, but it was my restaurant.
Okay, but
a lot of that Saint stuff started all back then, and kind of started feeding them on Fridays at the facility and so
But that's
forth.
mutual
So,
respect. You
and
respect
Steve,
them.
I love him, what he's doing for ALS, and just I get emotional talking about him sometimes because,
He's a hero.
like we all do, he's a hero. And
He's inspired.
anyway, sorry
so
I threw
many.
that in there, but
I'm
I
glad you
just,
did.
it just-
I'm glad you
it
did.
just means a lot to me.
And people love you for the fact that you give them their space and you respect them and you help them do what they're doing, which is great.
Yeah, and Cam Jordan's actually a partner in Ocean Springs too, by the way.
Really.
Throw out another name out there, but
Fantastic.
But he is. He came in. He's 25% owner. So
Really.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to
so I'm going to keep him here.
do a road trip. Sounds like a road trip. We could take the show on the road there.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Desi,
Thanks
you.
again, Mark.
Thanks for being with us.
Yes, sir.
Hey, y'all, go ahead and hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel and turn on your notifications. Please follow us. We've got new shows each and every week. And a very, very special thanks to all of our sponsors who are making this possible. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week.